assuming, Cathie, that you're going to hold to your Bitcoin forecast for, what is it, $1 million per coin by 2030. That still feels good to you.
Yes, and you can, sometimes you need to battle test. You need to go through crises to see who the real, to see the survivors, first of all, but really to battle test the infrastructure and the thesis. And again, we think Bitcoin is coming out of this smelling like a rose.
So according to Cathie Wood, Bitcoin's going to make it to $1 million by 2030. And she says there's no doubt about it. And that's because something really big is about to happen with Bitcoin. You've probably seen the announcements, including fake announcements, unfortunately, but there's been a lot of hype. We're talking about the Bitcoin spot trading ETF, exchange traded fund. And chances are there will likely be more than just one that is approved in the very near future. But there's also something important going on that very few people are talking about. It's definitely been a motivating reason for me to buy as much Bitcoin as I possibly can, at least before Blackrock does, because this will be one of our last chances to get real Bitcoin at low prices. I know that probably sounds a little bit cryptic, but we're going to break it all down in this video. Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. I wish you well if you choose to invest, but you just got to remember that I am not a financial or investment advisor. And so this video is not official financial or investment advice. Want to be in the best position for the upcoming crypto bull run? Introducing the Altcoin Buzz Alpha and Decubate special offer. Decubate Bronze Plus tier members can now claim a full refund on your first month of Altcoin Buzz Alpha membership. You're going to get access to the hottest IDOs, dedicated IDO reviews and profit-taking strategies, access to Altcoin Buzz's $10,000 portfolio, gems, watch lists, passive income strategies, IDOs, upcoming airdrops, buy and sell signals, and many more. And guess what? If you don't like Alpha, just let us know and we will 100% refund your subscription fee in its totality. And to be eligible, you just have to submit your Bronze Plus member email ID to the Alpha channel on Discord. Then simply join Altcoin Buzz Alpha. And if you want to get a Decubate tier, buy Decubate from PancakeSwap, and then simply stake your tokens here. For more information and details, check out the links in both the description of this video below and in the pinned comment. Okay, let's set some context here. All the way back 13 years ago in 2010, cyberpunk legend and recipient of the first Bitcoin transaction, Hal Finney, had this to say about Bitcoin banks. Finney said that most transactions will occur between banks with Bitcoin as the reserve currency. Then the banks will be settling the net transfers. He said that banks will issue their own digital cash. All right, so what? Well, a lot of people took this to mean that layer 2s like Stacks for Bitcoin or Arbitrum and Starkware for ETH will settle transactions before broadcasting to the layer 1. And this mostly happens right now. Stacks actually does it running a sidechain to Bitcoin. But what about ETFs? Again, exchange traded funds. ETFs are coming soon. It's not guaranteed 100%, but it does feel inevitable. And they're going to be huge for Bitcoin holders. The fact is that they could easily become part of, if not the entire Bitcoin bank layer of settling transactions between buyers and sellers. As a spot ETF, they're going to have to hold real Bitcoin, the same Bitcoin that you and I have right now, hopefully you have some, and make it available for their investors. It's important to remember that in April of 2024, we will be seeing the next Bitcoin halving, and that represents a cut of the block reward by 50%. So it's going to go from 6.25 BTC down to 3.125 BTC with every block. Miners, of course, will end up having first access to these coins as they get the coin as a reward when they win the block. And if they do, then their coins become available in the broader market. But again, the ETF. Here's the thing. BlackRock is actually already buying to seed its ETF. VanEck, ARK Invest, and Fidelity are not all that far behind either. At the time of this recording, Bitcoin traded $15.4 billion in the last 24 hours across all exchanges. Now, this doesn't include OTC over-the-counter activity. There's no doubt BlackRock and the others are going to be using OTC to buy at least some coins, but this $15.4 billion is spread out over lots of different exchanges. And the two biggest trading pairs, each at over $1 billion, are on Binance. After that, no one really has more than 3.5% of the total volume, or about 400 million. And where will most of this liquidity go? Well, to the ETF funds. OTC buyers will buy to then sell to Blackrock, or these coins will never make it to Binance as Blackrock or Van Eck buys them directly. And that's the thing that you have to be aware of, because these giant players are going to be taking most of the liquidity out of the market, and it's going to happen very, very soon. In simpler language, TheStreet.com here says that $30 trillion in new capital will come into the market to fund these spot ETFs. And remember, as a spot ETF, they need to have the coins available in their fund. So this means that at the current daily trading volume for Bitcoin of, let's say, $15 billion for the sake of round numbers, the $30 trillion will be buying 2,000 days worth of total trading volume. That's almost 6 full years worth. So hopefully you're starting to see the picture now, because again, with the halving as another variable, the block reward will be cut in half very soon. And that means that these 2,000 days will be more than 2,000 days worth of total liquidity. How much BTC will still be available on exchanges for you to buy? Not very much. Let's talk a little bit now about an important distinction: real Bitcoin versus synthetic Bitcoin. As we've been discussing, the halving is coming up pretty quickly in April, about 156 days from the time of this recording. That means fewer new Bitcoin coming out into the market every 10 minutes. And ETF approvals are simultaneously coming. They will capture nearly all the liquidity on exchanges and OTC for the next 5 to 6 years. It just comes down to basic arithmetic. So yes, fewer Bitcoin will be available for the general public, for retail investors like you and like me. But the even bigger threat is actually synthetic Bitcoin. And we can best illustrate that point by studying what happened to gold. In general, people want access to gold, but it's expensive to store. It's also just physically very heavy, inconvenient, and frankly dangerous to carry around in large supplies. So enter paper gold, or gold certificates. These are supposed to be backed one-to-one by real gold in storage somewhere, but that's not always the case. The problem gold investors face is everyone believes there are more gold certificates out there than they can redeem for actual gold bars or coins. And this is a problem because the certificate is a derivative of gold and not the real thing. And unfortunately, it stands to reason that the same thing will happen with Bitcoin. When BlackRock gets its $2 trillion in Bitcoin or more for its fund, they will not want to get rid of it. They understand its value just as you do and just as I do. BlackRock will offer certificates as well, not paper or digital, but they're going to launch a token based on their Bitcoin holdings, and people will trade it back and forth. And just like what FTX tried with SOBTC, but done legally. Wrapped coins, synthetic coins, and derivative coins are coming to Bitcoin in a big way. And the issues will be the ETF funds themselves. Whether they are honest about backing it one-to-one with Bitcoin in their ETF doesn't even matter. But they will do it, and that's how investors will be able to withdraw funds. We're going back full circle now to Hal Finney's Bitcoin banks theory. It's coming to life, but maybe not exactly in the way he intended. BlackRock will continue to hold its real BTC. They will net out the difference of their synthetic BTC and settle in a real BTC if needed. And so if you want to assure yourself and hopefully future generations that you have real Bitcoin and not some silly synthetic BlackRock issued version, then you need to bite the bullet and buy some now while there is enough liquidity in secondary markets before the ETF approval. Because eventually, we're going to be left with the real Bitcoin market with only a few private holders, and then the synthetic Bitcoin market, which will be huge and include most of the public, but that's not ideal. So very simply, given those two options, the question is, which one would you rather hodl?